oppressive, closed society where alternate sexual identities and alternate sexual behaviors are frowned upon. And those become shadow areas that nobody wants to go to, nobody wants to talk about. But that's where a lot of the infection is taking place. And until we can go there and talk about these behaviors, these risks are going to continue. It's, for instance, very few heterosexual men will admit that they sometimes enjoy anal sex, for instance. It's just frowned upon, whether it's anal sex with another man or anal sex with a woman. And yet if we go and look at what's being made in the pornography industry worldwide, and we look at what's coming out in pornography, the vast majority of it, focusing at straight men, is focused on anal sex. In this case, anal sex with women. But patriarchy, male heterosexual dominance, precludes us, makes it uncomfortable for us to talk about men having anal sex with other men. Now we know it does happen, we know it happens, but it's not spoken of. I think that what we need to do is to acknowledge that people are behaving in sexual ways that may not always be comfortable to us. And our first response is to morally judge in an emotional way. We should stop doing that, and we should rather begin to acknowledge that these behaviors are happening and not judge them, but look at how can we address them. And I'll give you a simple example. Is our government distributes millions of condoms every year, and we all feel very proud of that. We think we're doing a great thing. But a condom is fabulous for men having anal sex. But to engage in safe anal sex with a condom, you also need water-based lubricant. Nobody is talking about water-based lubricant. So what lubricant are people using? They're using cooking oil, they're using Rama, they're using Dawn body lotion. These are the things that are being used. Whereas we should be talking about this behavior, and we should be saying, okay, you are having anal sex, that's fine, we're not moralizing about it. How can we make it safer for you? So we know you need to use a condom, and we know that you need water-based lubricant because we know that oils harm condoms. And I'll give you a simple example. In our prisons, male prisons, we hand out condoms. We do not hand out lubricant. There's no point to that. When we talk about male-to-male sexuality, we are not necessarily talking about identities. So male-to-male sex occurs between men who are also heterosexual. We're talking purely about behavior. And then we start looking at situations that are more conducive to such behavior. An example would be a military base where more male presence. We look at isolated communities such as a ship at sea with male crew. And obviously we have to look at prisons. And then we start talking about situational homosexuality. So the person doesn't have a homosexual identity or sexual orientation, but the situation that is in lends itself to male sex. Now it's also important when we talk about sex that we acknowledge that every time two people are engaging in a sexual behavior, there is a power dynamic at play. There's always a power dynamic at play. And we see this acting out in prisons, for instance. Sexuality features a lot in terms of gang behavior. It's an expression of power, of male dominance over another man, the ability to penetrate, to rape, to abuse, to effeminize, to take away power from somebody by penetrating him. So sexual behavior in our prisons, although we don't like to talk about it, nobody talks about it. It's happening all the time, it's happening every day. We need to start talking about this because, not just from a moral perspective, and personally I think it's wrong that we don't acknowledge some of the horror, because sex isn't always a good thing that's taking place in our prisons. Our prison populations are literally fluid. People are coming out every day. And while they're being infected in our prisons, they're coming out as positive men, usually with a heterosexual identity, and they are infecting women in our communities. So we have to start looking at what's going on inside our prisons.